Hi everyone. Today is day 69 of 90 of the Team Heart Live Facebook Challenge. And it is a hot, sweltery afternoon. And I think I'm literally just dripping today. My house doesn't have air conditioning and there's not really a lot of a breeze around here. So it just feels like you're sitting in a hot box. So today I just wanted to talk about really quickly the stories we tell ourselves, because I cannot be the only person out there that has mental conversations going on with myself all the time, and they're not always for the good. So a friend of mine that has been in my life for several years now used to talk about the parties in her head. And, it's that conversation you have going on inside your head. And no one else is privy to the whole debate that's going on. And you can have a discovery conversation that ends in a judgment conversation that ends in a hanging, a personal hanging, all inside of your head, and you can have it in a matter of seconds, and no one even knows the conversations happened. And sometimes, we decide for ourselves that something's a certain way, and so we have this little conversation in our head, and we think that because that's how we think that it's going to happen, that's how it's going to happen, and we start taking action towards this conversation we've had in our head, which may or may not really be what's actually happening. And sometimes we do this before we have even allowed the other person to respond back to us or to, engage with us. So, those conversations are never good. And we have conversations with ourselves all the time, right? So I have conversations in my head right now all the time about, do I really want to stick with trying to be healthy? Do I really want to stick with, drinking, the amount of water I'm supposed to drink every day? Do I really, not want to have this or that, in order to stay on my goals and my paths? So I have all these little conversations going on, right? So there's those conversations that we have. But then sometimes, we have conversations in our head because we are rehearsing, because we don't know what to say to somebody. And we are nervous about the conversation. We're nervous about what we're going to say to someone, or how we're going to react in a certain situation. So we rehearse it over and over and over again, hoping that we can come up with a response to what's coming towards us. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to have a conversation in your head, and some are good and some aren't good. But the thing is that we are always listening to ourselves. And even when you think it's not important, even when you think that the things you say to yourself don't matter, they really do matter, because we actually take action on the things we believe about ourselves. And you may not realize you have a belief pattern going on, but every time let's see how I can explain this better. I have never believed I am good at math. Like, I struggled with math in high school. It was always a difficult subject for me. So my belief is that math is difficult. And whether I realize it or not, consciously or unconsciously, I seek out things that keep that belief in place. So, I struggled reading my QuickBooks reports for my company because, if I could understand those reports, right, then I understood math, and that didn't fit with my belief, right? So I I would tell people I didn't understand it. I would misinterpret things. And really, I mean, I was forcing myself to relive that behavior and that pattern. I was looking for other people's confirmations of a belief about myself. And every time someone said something that gave the impression I wasn't good at math, I sucked that in like water to a sponge, and it made my belief stronger. And instead of doing the opposite, which is knowing, okay, hey, I struggle a little bit with math, but math can be learned and I can learn it. And putting myself in those positions and teaching myself that skill, I rather enforce the belief that I had that I couldn't be good at math. So we do that kind of thing all the time, and we do it with every different aspect of our life, and we don't even know we're doing it. That's the thing. And then we go out and we live our lives according to these belief systems that we've put in place and that we accept about ourselves. And you know, sometimes you've got to deal with the conversations going on in your head before you can make actual physical change. You've got to change the mental conversation before you can change the physical. And, you know, if there is something I'm learning on this journey of wellness, it's that it all starts with the way I think, because I can't control, I can't make change happen if I can't control my own thoughts. If I can't have discipline in the way that I think and discipline in the way I speak to myself and about myself, things will never change. So my little thought for today is this: pay attention to the conversations you are having with yourself. Listen to what you're saying to yourself about yourself. And if you want to take it, I mean, that's a huge project. If you want to take it a step further, start listening to the things that you say about other people, and start listening to the way that you talk and treat other people verbally, because there's something inside you, there's a belief system inside you that is creating that pattern. And if you don't want the pattern, you know, if every time your sister calls you're snippy with her, there's something in your belief system that's created that pattern. And if you don't like the outcome, you got to go backtrack and figure out what's created the belief in you that the only interaction you can have with your sister is something that's snippy. So it's a big project. I know it's a big thing to change the way you think and the way that you speak to yourself specifically, to other people even more so. But it's worth it. It's worth it on a personal level to go through process and to go through change and to try and be a better person. But you have to start here. You have to want it. You have to pay attention to it. And you have to really work on it. Nothing comes for free. You have to put the effort in. It's just the way life is. So I hope all of you have a great evening, and I hope it's a cool evening for you guys, because it is not going to be a cool evening for us here. But I love you guys, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.